we back. And y'all, we are basically at the halfway mark of the NBA season. I know it's weird to think about. I feel like the season just started. But a lot of teams have played the 40, 41, 42 games, which puts us in the middle of the season. It's not the All-Star break. I know the All-Star break should be in the middle, but it's not. So there's an article that was posted on Bleacher Report giving every team report cards based on their first half of the season. Now, I have not seen this article, but I put together my own grading system. So what we're going to do, we're going to see what they think and see if it matches up with my personal opinion, all right? Be sure to leave a like on the video. Oh, I forgot. On my second channel, The Foul Shot, I just started a series where I'm going over and I'm reacting to NBA highlights. The first episode, I won't tell you what it is. The link will be in the description. Go watch, go subscribe. I can't go over NBA footage on this channel, so I can do it over there. I can do it over there and not get in trouble. So if you want to see my reactions to certain plays, breaking down footage, so on and so forth, the link is in the description. And the first episode was just released earlier today. So go leave it a like. Go watch it, okay? Leave a like on this video too. Let's get to some mid-season. Oh, no. Something else that is super important. I'm not grading how good you've been this season. If I wanted to do that, I would just look at the standings and say Lakers A, Bucks A, so on and so forth. No, I'm grading you based on the expectation heading into the season. For example, I'm trying to think of a good example. The Washington Wizards were not supposed to be good this season. So the fact that they're not good doesn't mean I'm giving them an F. You know what I'm saying? Because they're missing John Wall. They had a lot of injuries and so on like that. So I'm grading a lot of different stuff. So just keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind. If I gave your team a low grade, it's not because they're trash. It's because they may not be living up to the expectation heading into the season. All right, so here we are. The Atlanta Hawks would be the first team. I gave the Atlanta Hawks a D, and they gave the Atlanta Hawks a D-. So I gave them a little bit more love. A lot of people saw this team as potentially being a playoff contender going into the season. And though they started off pretty solid before the John Collins injury, I never saw them as a team that would really be out there competing because we didn't know what Cam Reddish was going to be like. We didn't know how Hunter was going to come into the league. And that's just the way I thought. And then the rest of their roster would be Chandler Parsons, Evan Turner, even Jabari Parker, though he's been solid. He's not a player that I would trust to play winning basketball. So I didn't see them as that type of team. But they have got to the point where they're trying to make trades to improve the roster right now, which is a little ludicrous to me because they've been a pretty good drafting team. Trae Young was a good pick. You can argue whether or not they should have traded Luka or whatever. Trae Young's having a good sophomore season. John Collins was a snag. Kevin Huerter was a snag. And then the other rookies it's too early to tell, but they've done a pretty decent job drafting. Just continue to do that. Get a top 5 pick and just draft well. Don't trade for Drummond. Don't trade for Drummond. Next team would be the Boston Celtics. I had them at an A. They had them at an A-. I did not see this team being as good as they are, honestly. I thought that their lack of a real good center was going to hurt them, but so far the season has not. And a lot of that's due to the fact that with like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, they played for Team USA, y'all. So they had time to gel outside of the NBA season, and so far they have been great. The next team is the Nets. I had them at a B, and they also had them at a B the first time we match up. Though the Brooklyn Nets went on like a 7-game loser streak towards the end of the Kyrie Irving injury, they still ended up being 13-13 without Kyrie Irving. And that's exactly what you want, right? You don't expect your team to really be that much better or better at all when your star player goes down. You can just hope that they end up being decent. And 13-13 is the definition of being decent. They were, they had a very, very average record. And now Kyrie Irving's back. They got to reincorporate some things with even Karis LeVert missed a bunch of time too. So I gave them a B because even with that, they've been pretty decent. The Hornets, I gave the Hornets a B+. They gave them a B. They have been destroying expectations, and though recently they're starting to come back down to earth, they still better right now than I ever expected them to be. And a lot is due to the fact that Devontae Graham is way better than I expected him to be, or anybody really expected him to be. Terry Rozier's been pretty decent in his role. PJ Washington as a rookie has come in and been an impactful NBA player. So though I think they're like the 10th seed at the moment, I thought coming into the season they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. So they're doing a lot better than expected. The Bulls, I gave a C-. And they also gave him a C-. We are one of the best defensive teams in the league, but the offense has been lackluster. Wendell Carter got injured about a week ago, and just last night, Daniel Gafford got injured. So right now, our two centers are Cristiano Felicio and Luke Cornett, which is not very good. And right now, we're the 9th seed. We're like 3 games out of the playoffs, and will we make the playoffs? Probably not. Zach LaVine's like the only bright spot offensively. Kobe White has his moments, but he's a rookie, so he has his moments. And since this is a team I expected to be like a 7-8 seed, I guess they're not way below expectations until you look at some numbers. The Cavs, I gave a D, and they gave them a C-. Listen, the Cavs have been so crazy off the court with all their antics, where like a couple months ago, it was already speculated that Beeline had lost the locker room, that players weren't listening to him. They were listening to his assistant coaches. And then you had the fact that Kevin Love threw this big old temper tantrum for a couple weeks. And then the slug versus thugs thing happened. It's just a lot of things happening that not on the court for this Cleveland Cavaliers team. And also they don't have anybody that's playmaking for the team. But they do have some good wins on the record, though. I can say that. They definitely have some good wins on the record. The Mavericks, I gave an A. They did too. Who would expect this team to have the best offense almost ever? Like a historically good offense. When you look at their roster, I definitely didn't see that coming. But when you get Luka the ball, a lot of things can happen. Seth Curry has been pretty good off their bench. They just have players that fit around Luka, and I definitely didn't expect this team to be this good this fast. I thought we were going to be year 3, year 4 before Luka's team was going to be in the playoffs, but right now they're basically a playoff lock. They've been amazing. The Nuggets, I gave an A as well. They gave a B. Okay, so that's a little bit lower than I expected. They started off slow, kind of a Nuggets thing at this point, especially since Jokic had to play himself into shape. They've been good, man. What can I say? The Jeremy Grant trade has been solid because Paul Millsap has been injured. Jeremy Grant has stepped up. Also, Michael Porter Jr., with their draft and stash guy, basically had another good game. Their future is bright. Their current is bright. There's not much I can say. Next team is the Pistons. I gave the Pistons a D+. They gave him a C-, so we're basically pretty close. I'm happy that they're finally blowing this team up because they continuously been the 7th, 8th seed the past couple years or so, or the 9th and 10th seed. It's good to see them like, okay, this core is not working. Let's blow it up. We got Luke Cornett. We got Sekou, who we can start to build around. Let's blow everything up. And Blake Griffin's going to be there for some time because I don't think people are trading for that Blake Griffin contract. Then we have the Warriors. I gave the Warriors a D+. It's not their fault that everybody's injured. C- is what they gave them. Not everybody. Obviously, their 2 best players, and Clay and Steph Curry, are injured. But the rest of the roster has been trash. I really wish that Steph Curry didn't hurt himself because I wanted to see how this team was going to be with just Steph and D'Angelo Russell. I would have loved to see it. And now we're at the point where, like, Steph Curry's in the gym. He's getting shots up. But we don't know if he's actually going to come back yet. Does it make sense to keep him just on ice? Yes, because you get a higher draft pick, and that's going to have a lot of trade value, or you just draft well. But D'Angelo Russell has been good when he's been playing. He's been in and out of the lineup. Draymond Green is like just mid at this point, man. And he is obviously a player that is helped when he's played with very good NBA players around him. But, man, this season, it's just watching him, you're like, man, what happened to Draymond? Next team is the Rockets. I gave the Rockets a B+. They gave him a B+ as well. Took some time for the team to gel. They're currently on a 2-game losing streak. The first game they lost was no Russell Westbrook. And just last night they lost with Russell Westbrook. But they're starting to put together. Russell Westbrook has been good over the past 2 or 3 weeks. He's starting to put together some games where you see the old Russell Westbrook. Jump shooter still not there, but getting to the rack. There's not many people that can stop Russell Westbrook from getting to the rack. And they're starting to put it together. I still don't know how much I trust this team when the playoff comes around. I think I got to see them in the playoffs to actually know if I trust them. The Pacers were next. I gave them an A. They gave them an A-. So, again, we continue to stay pretty close. I'm curious of how the team is going to look when Victor Oladipo comes back. The team's been very, very good without him. And him and Malcolm Brogdon has never been on the same court together. So I just wonder, how will it take some time for the team to re-gel? There's a lot of question marks going into it. Obviously, I'm happy to see VO finally coming back, and it happened to be against my Bulls. So, I mean, that'll be interesting, I guess. They're probably going to destroy us. But it may take some time for them to gel. We got to see, like, are we giving VO back the shots that matter and things like that. So I gave them an A. Defense has been good. We're finally seeing Miles Turner and Sabonis start to work well together, and Malcolm Brogdon and all the other cats have been stepping up. Clippers, I gave a C+. They gave a B. The reason I gave the Clippers a C+ is because obviously it's just so much going on. I wonder, like, how long before we get like 5 or 6 or 7 games in a row, and I don't know if it'll ever happen, where Paul George and Kawhi are on the court together. I know this team is built for the playoffs because that's where it matters, but we need to see them get more accustomed to playing together. Because Kawhi's sitting out the second games of back-to-back with low management or whatever. Then Paul George is missing time with his ankle injury or whatever's going on. It's like, bro, can we just get some games where y'all playing together? Because when the playoffs come around and y'all only play 30 games together, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm saying? But they've been solid, obviously. But then again, there are some games you're like, man, you shouldn't have lost those games. And maybe if both of your guys were playing at the same time, you wouldn't have lost those games. But it's a team, again, built for the playoffs. Seeding does matter, though. I wonder if towards the end of the season, are we going to see them starting to play more and more together because you want to have the upper seed, because you want home court advantage. That Kawhi Leonard shot, is he making that shot if it's in Philly instead of Toronto? I don't know, because the home court advantage does matter so much. It does. Next team's the Lakers. Lakers getting the A. They've been amazing, offensively, defensively, with AD, without AD, with LeBron, without LeBron. They've been pretty solid. They just lost last night to the Orlando Magic. Losses happen. It's not much I can really say about this Lakers team. They put together a team around LeBron. Like last night, though they did lose, they were closing out the game with like Troy Daniels, Quinn Cook, Jared Dudley. It's like, those aren't very good NBA players, but they all excel at one thing, and that's shooting the ball. And LeBron ended up having 19 assists because when you put shooters around LeBron, he's going to create for them. Team's been amazing. Team's been amazing. Next team is the Grizzlies. I also gave the Grizzlies an A. They gave them an A-. A team that didn't have many expectations coming into the season, but now they're in the playoff hunt, like the 8th seed at the moment. Ja has been incredible to watch, super fun to watch. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been putting up pretty good numbers too. They got players like DeAnthony Melton, who's been here and there throughout his NBA career so far. Hopefully found a home with his defense. Brandon Clark is one of my favorite players in the league. I love watching this team play. If they are playing, no matter the opponent, I will be tuning in. Next team is the Miami Heat. Also gave an A. They gave a B+. Destroying expectations. I remember a video I did before the season started. Somebody asked, Kenny, do you see the Miami Heat being a 7th, 8th seed? Could they make the playoffs? And in that video, I was like, could they make the playoffs? They're going to be a top 4 seed. I had no doubt in my mind that this team is going to be as good as they are right now. Again, I didn't know that Kendrick Nunn was going to be great. I didn't know that Duncan Robinson was going to be really good. But I knew that this team had all the pieces to be a very good team, and so far they have been that. The Bucks is next. That's an A. Ooh, they gave him an A+. I was not expecting any team to get an A+. They're on track to win 70 games. Yes, 7-0. Seriously, they've been amazing. They have the reigning MVP. He's probably going to win again. Next team is the Wolves. Gave the Wolves a C. And the C is for like incomplete, because without Karl-Anthony Towns, what do you expect from a team when they're missing their all-NBA type player? He's been out for a very long time, man. It was a leg injury, and then he caught the flu. I want to see Karl-Anthony Towns back on the floor, because at this point, everybody's still in the playoff race, because, I mean, that's just how the season is going so far. But it's going to take a lot for this team to get into the playoffs. It's going to take a lot. We're going to need Karl-Anthony Towns to come back and put up all NBA numbers to even come close to it. This is one of those teams that is like bordering they're towards mediocre. And you want them not to be that if you're a fan of the team. Then we have the Pelicans. I gave the Pelicans a B. They gave them a B+. Recently, they're starting to put it together. Zion's coming back on the 22nd, so we're like 6 days away from a Zion Williamson NBA debut. But Lonzo starts to pick it up here, like 4 straight 20-point games. Brandon Ingram is my pick for most improved player so far this season. And then now we're getting to the point where, though Jrue Holiday has been missing, JJ Redick's been in the lineup more, and obviously JJ Redick's impact's great when he's coming off screens here and there. He's being great. I do think there's a team that can make a push for the playoffs. I'm sorry. With Jrue Holiday being healthy when he does come back, Derek Favors still needs to get healthy, and then Zion being healthy, this is a team that can make a push. So I'm just hoping everybody does gel and they start to be healthy, because this is one of those teams. Next, the Knicks. Gave the Knicks a C-. They gave him a D. The Knicks are the Knicks, man. Since firing Fizdale, they've been okay. They've been winning games, like the game against Miami a couple nights ago. They win some games here and there. They're starting to put it together with the X's and O's. They're in the... Wow, bro. I knew Frank Ntilikina's wingspan was ridiculous, but this picture makes it look like a 2K My player. His wings are all the way down to his knees, bro. His arms are down to his knees. That is crazy. I knew, like, that's the defense, again. But... RJ starting to have good games here and there. His free throw percentage has gone up since the beginning of the season. It just takes some time for young players to get better. Like, people are already judging RJ based on 2 months of his NBA career. Relax. Next team, the Thunder. I gave an A-. They gave an A. Shea has been great. Chris Paul's probably going to be an all-star again this year, which is beautiful for me as a Chris Paul super fan and a Shea fan. A team, again, I said it before in videos, I did not believe this team is going to be as good as they are coming into the season. I was happily mistaken, because this is also a team that I love watching night in, night out. They just put together another 30-point comeback last night. They end up losing, but like they were down by 30 at one point, and they end up losing by like 7, and it was a close game. So this is one of those teams. Maybe they shouldn't be getting down 20 and 25, but they still are super fun to watch. I gave them an A-. The Magic, I gave a D+. They gave a C-. Now, they did just put together one of the best wins of the season against the Lakers. Markelle had a triple-double. Shout out to Markelle, silencing the doubters. But the reason I gave them a D+ is because the offense is still not there, man. The offense is still struggling. Without John Isaac, they've been actually okay, which is very weird. I definitely thought without John Isaac, they'd fall out the playoffs, for sure. But they haven't. So maybe, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm probably going to go C- as well. I know it's not that much of a difference, but I think I'm going to go C- as well, especially after last night's win. I made my grades before the games last night ended, and yeah, they put together a good win. And then they also had a game a couple nights before that when Aaron Gordon hit a game winner. I forget who that was against. Everything just starts to blend together in my mind. 76, they gave a C. I gave them a C+. Last night I tweeted during last night's game, I said, if you were ranking Tobias Harris, he is a top blank player in the league. And most people agree that he's like top 30, 35 player in the league. So let's say you got him, Tobias Harris, a top 35 player in the league. You got Ben Simmons, who's what, top 20. And then you got Joel Embiid, who's top 10. This team should be way better than what they are. But the lack of shooting is hurting. Al Horford can't make a 3 to save his life. Josh Richardson has his moments. He's just player of the week, so shout out to him. But he has his moments where he looks really good, and you have his moments you're like, come on, bro, hit a shot. And then Ben Simmons will have a game where he's dominant in the first half, and in the second half, he's just not existent. Like that happened against the Pacers. That almost happened last night again. It's like we want to see him do it for 4 straight quarters. It just doesn't happen that often. This team should be a lot better than what they are, and they're in the market for another shooter, which is exactly what they need. I just don't know how they're going to pull off a trade for another shooter. Then we have the Suns. I gave the Suns a B. They gave them a B-. Though they have kind of fell a bit from early in the season, they're still better than what we expected them to be, which is good because we want to see Devin Booker get an all-star nod, and he might get it this season with their team still being in the playoff hunt. Kelly Oubre, you think about that Kelly Oubre trade, they fleeced the Washington Wizards, man. Trevor Ariza, who's barely in the rotation now in Sacramento, and when he is on the court, they're not good. They gave up Kelly Oubre, a young up-and-coming player, for that. Kelly Oubre is basically averaging a dub a game. Bro, listen, I bought those Converse that Kelly Oubre hoops in because I just like to hoop in different shoes. I get tired of the Nike, Adidas, Under Armour. I try to hoop in unorthodox shoes, right? I got some Dwayne Wade Lee Nings that I be hooping in, and I got these Converse. Bro, those Converse messed my feet up. I was at the gym. We hooped for like 3 straight hours. I took my shoe off. I was bleeding from 3 toes, y'all. Them shoes messed up my feet. So I'm only Puma gang from this point on. I just got to say that. Next team is the Blazers. I gave the Blazers a C. They gave them a C+. We talked about this on my podcast, but last year they could rely on their defense with Al-Farouq Aminu and Mo Harkless. They could rely on their defense when the offense wasn't there. But now the defense is not there. Damian Lillard's one of the worst defenders in the league this year. CJ's never been a very above average defender. Kim Bazemore is a decent defender. Melo's never been a good defender. And Hassan Whiteside's a good defender. Overall, they don't have many good defenders. So if their offense is not going, their defense is not stopping anybody either. They did put together a good win last night against the Rockets and all. But overall, from a Western Conference Finals to like barely in the playoffs right now is a big drop-off. This is one of those teams that usually get it together once the new calendar year starts, but we're 16 days into this calendar year and they still haven't put together that streak that they usually do every single season. Next team, the Kings. I gave a D+. They gave a D. Bro, the Kings went from one of my favorite teams to watch last year to one of my least favorite. Luke Walton destroyed this team, bro. They were up and down, running back and forth. The man name is Swiper because he's fast. And now they're running half-court offenses all game long. That's not where he excels at. And he's put together good games. 2 straight games where he had like 27, 7 to 7. But he definitely is so much better in the full court. But Luke Walton got these men playing in the half court, bro. This is not what they do. Buddy Hield's a lot better when he's trailing the fast break and he's pulling up for 3. I hate it. I hate the direction this team is going right now. And though De'Aaron Fox missed a lot of time, Marvin Bagley missed a lot of time, Rashawn Holmes missed a lot of time now, they have had their injuries, but there's no excuse for them changing their play style completely. Dave Yeager should still be their coach. I'm just saying that. Spurs gave a C+. They gave him a C+ as well. Starting to put it together. DeMar DeRozan has been money recently. I don't know what his shooting splits are, but like when I'm watching him, it feels like he's never missing a shot. LaMarcus is starting to attempt way more threes, and I think he's shooting like 55% from 3 over the past couple games, and he's shooting like 5 a game. So it's like, I don't know what happened to LaMarcus where he's like, okay, I guess I'll shoot the 3, and he's hit it up. We have the Raptors. They gave an A-. They gave an A. I knew this team was still going to be good without Kawhi. I knew that Siakam could be that guy, and he has been. I like the fact that without Siakam, they still were a decent team. That's what you got to do. If your star player is missing 10 games or so, if you can stay average, that's all. You just don't want to go 2-8 when your star player is out. If you can go 4-6, 6-4, you're in good company, and you can basically keep your spot in the playoff race. They've been good, and they've been had a lot of injuries. Norman Powell's been injured. Freddie has missed some time. Kyle Lowry's been good. He deserves to be an all-star again. Then we have the Jazz. I gave an A. They got him in a B+. This current streak has been crazy. In the last 18, 15-3 is what it says there. That's without Mike Conley. Joe Ingles and Bogdanovich has been great together. Joe Ingles in the pick and roll with Rudy Gobert has been amazing. Rudy Gobert's having an all-star type season. Donovan Mitchell's having an all-star type season. Defense is there. That's all you can ask for. And lastly, the Wizards, I gave a B-. They gave a B. All the things considered, like, they weren't supposed to be a good team, and though they're not, but they're fun, bro. They're fun. Davis Bertans pulling from the logo. Isaiah Thomas is there. What's that? Gary Payton II be having games. We have like 7 steals. This is a team that's fun to watch. They ain't stopping nobody, but their offense is very, very good. And those are my grades. It's not down to an exact science or anything. I just have fun grading things. Let me know in the comment section what you agree or disagree on. Leave a like on the video. Click the link in the description. Go watch the foul shot while I break down some footage. Should be a lot of fun for the future. All right, it's been Kenny. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.